Got Coach Ricky Brumfield. We'll go ahead and open our ready for questions for Coach. Go.
I'll ask you about your new public responsibility in terms of like coaching corners. Just
Yes.
kind of how's that going? What's it been like working with Coach Santucci and making that adjustment?
It's going good. We have obviously with the corners and doing special teams and everything, it's a little more added on the plate. But last year I was helping out as well. You know what I mean? And I was helping the coaches out on the defense with the nickels and the corners. So, it was a smooth transition because I knew those guys. You know what I mean? Obviously, I knew them from special teams as well. But just knowing those guys from a defensive perspective, it was just an easy transition for me. So.
And Brent, giving you the associate head coach role, how much did that mean to you to have a little bit of faith in you from that perspective?
It meant a lot. I didn't know him coming in, and just coming in and working hard for him, and him seeing that, you know what I mean? It was honestly, it was an honor to be able to get that. And to be able to my future goals is I want to be a head coach, and my future goals wherever it is, and so that's going to allow me to help in that process. And so for him doing that, I'm very appreciative of it, grateful of it, and I'm not taking it lightly. I'm doing everything that I can to learn as much as I can from him, help him out as well, and that's kind of what I told Coach. I want to try to take some things off of your plate. I don't want to just have a title and just kind of be here. I want to be able to take some things off of your plate, and then obviously help my career in the future as well.
Your second year as a special teams coach, how big is it for you to have pretty much all your big contributors back with kicker, punter, returners? Like, how easy is that just to bring everybody back and they know what you expect?
It's really, really good. Last year when I came in the spring, I'm teaching everybody everything. I'm teaching the coaches, I'm teaching the players, I'm teaching the grad assistants, I'm teaching everybody how we're doing that drill and the emphasis of the drill and the point of the drill and how that drill translates to the game, and getting the kickers and the specialists and the punters to believe in what we're doing, whether it's rugby, whether it's how we line up for field goals and all of those things. And this year is just a smoother transition. They know what is expected. They saw the success from it. And they understand the outcome, and so they're more willing, and they bought in more. They're more bought in. They understand, and which makes a smooth transition. It's really, really good. It is.
I wanted to ask you about a couple of new guys in your room. You have Warren from Tennessee and Saeed. Just kind of what are you seeing from those guys, and how do they fit into the corner room for you?
They are football players. You know what I mean? Like they love football. Warren is a guy that wants to be specific with his technique. He's always talking to me like, "Stay on me, coach." He's a pleasure to coach. You know what I mean? I don't want to talk too high on him because I don't like talking high on players until they leave. But he's been a pleasure to coach because he never gets down. He's never too down. He's never too high. And he wants to be perfect. You know what I mean? Understand that he's not going to be perfect, but he wants to work towards being perfect or as close to it as possible. And he's always wanting to be corrected on his technique. And he's a willing player. He's a willing learner. And, he's just been a pleasure. And I think he's going to be a really, really good player for us because he cares. Saeed is another player like that. You know what I mean? He's different in the aspect of his mentality and how he goes about everything. Kind of Warren is kind of a little smiling and a laugh and a joke a little bit. And Saeed is more serious and just, still face. But they both love football. Saeed is going to come in and get extra time, extra work, and he's a perfectionist as well. And they just go about things a different way, but it's all for one common goal. And it's been a pleasure having those guys working.
How can your special teams unit be better this year?
We obviously have to be better in a lot of different phases. Kickoff was the main one we need to work on the most. The second half of the season, we kind of just started deteriorating for a lot of different reasons. But last year, the previous year, we went from 131st in the country overall to 42nd in the country overall. So it was a major improvement overall from special teams, but we just need to be great throughout. You know what I mean? And the thing that we didn't do is we didn't score touchdowns. And I've always in the past have scored touchdowns, whether it's kick return, punt returns. And so, I want to be able to not just change field position, but I want to be able to score touchdowns. I want to be able to change the game completely. And I think we can do better at that. We blocked kicks last year, which was pretty good. Had 4 throughout the year. But we just got to be consistent with tackling. You know what I mean? And I think what that is overall defensively and offensively the guys that's on special teams. So I need to do a better job of working with those guys on tackling so we don't miss any tackles and we don't give up any plays at all. But overall, it was a major improvement, but, we just got to fix a couple of those minor details. And like I said, kickoff was probably the worst phase, second half of the season, and we're working on a lot of different drills to correct all that.
Do you look at different personnel? Obviously, you lost Dom, who was your predominant punt return most of the year, but just kind of who are you looking at, and who would you like to kind of see maybe get in that mix in the kick return and punt return game?
Yeah, I know we got in the kick return game, Christian Leary is back. Jamal has been back there as well. We have a couple other guys that we're going to start trying to work. We haven't got to that point yet. We just have those guys catching. Punt return, Rodney. Rodney kind of got back there last year not towards, but in the bowl game, and he did one against South Carolina State. And the difference with Rodney and Dom is Rodney he's more elusive and he's a little bit faster. Dom was a lot more reliable, and he got those yardage you really didn't realize he was getting. He wasn't that breakaway guy, but he was the one that was going to catch it every single time and get us 10 to 12 yards every single time. I think Rodney is going to be that guy that he'll be able to break free one of those and take it to the crib. He's quick. We just got to make sure he's looking the ball in with his eyes every single time, and he's willing. He wants to be back there, and I think he's going to be pretty good at it. And we got Christian back there catching. I mean, we're trying everybody. Eric, Jamal. We're trying all of those guys back there catching to see who can catch it consistently and make something happen when they get free.
Anything else for Coach? Coach?
I was curious about holding. Everyone has kind of a different philosophy about it. You have David doing your predominant holder. Mm-hmm. Some guys like their backup quarterback. Obviously, that can be tricky.
Yeah.
Like, how do you go about selecting the guy who's going to hold for you?
I personally love the punters holding because those guys work together, and they work together all day long. I've had it before where the quarterback was a holder, place we're at, and he can care less about holding. They come over and they only had a chin strap. They get about 5, and they're like, "Coach, I'm good," and then they're gone. You know what I mean? So it's just like, Like, I want the chemistry, I want the trust, and so if the kicker has trust in the holder and the snapper, the operation time is going to be bam, and they're going to understand each other. When you start, and a lot of people say, "Oh, use a quarterback for fakes." Like, how many fakes are you really doing in field goal throughout a year? You know what I mean? Like 1 or 2. So you're going to have a quarterback hold who really doesn't care. You kick way more field goals than fakes. And so just hopefully you have a punter that can do some fakes, you know what I mean, to help with it. But I prefer the punter to hold because that punter is always catching the ball. He's catching the ball from the long snapper, the short snapper. He's always with the kickers. They all work together. They meet together. They hang out with each other. They leave to the practice field early. They come off the practice field. You know what I mean? Like, they have that chemistry together. So I always love the punter holding for the kickers, not the quarterback so much.
Anything else? Coach Brumfield,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank y'all. I appreciate y'all.
Who was the quarterback? Questions for David?
I'm curious, just how's the excitement level getting closer to playing your first college game in your home country?
Yeah, it's definitely getting closer. I guess when we found out, it was probably like this time last year. It's kind of St. Patrick's Day, so it's still so far away. There's obviously a lot of stuff between now and then, like summer ball and obviously the rest of spring ball and all that, fall camp. But it's definitely getting there. It's definitely coming around pretty quick. So I'm excited.
You've already been over there a couple times recently, right?
Yeah, we went back in July. A group of us went over. We kind of got to go there for like the 4th of July week. We kind of went around the place. Took them to my hometown, my school and stuff. So that was a lot of fun too.
You've already got multiple years of starting experience under your belt. Like, what do you have to keep improving on, going into this year and just keep getting better?
Yeah. I mean, this will probably be the first year I've had the same special teams coordinator for year on year. Like freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, I had different special teams coordinators. So, knowing exactly, I guess, what we're going to be doing, and having that, I guess, Coach Brumfield's been here again. That'll really help, I think, just to have that continuity. There's always stuff to work on, like consistency and kind of directional stuff, and we're kind of implementing some more stuff in that we didn't have last year, kind of different types of kicks, so kind of keep things interesting. There's always stuff to keep improving on the whole operation.
Have the questions stepped up from your teammates on like what to expect? And I imagine because probably most of them have never been to Ireland. So
Yeah, a little bit. A couple of them got to try some of the Irish snacks, which they were popular. Honestly, they were a hit. Some of the big boys as well. They liked them. Jordan Williams liked them. But yeah, no, they're coming along. I mean, I think we still need a couple of passports as well. So guys have been asking me about that. I'm probably not the person to ask, but yeah.
Just on your punting, kind of would have been some aspects that you feel like you need to improve upon? Is it just consistency, kick to kick, that kind of thing?
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, just kind of nailing down a process, especially for the kind of the pro style spiral punts. You know, sometimes I do a 2-step, sometimes 2.5, sometimes 3. Just kind of nailing down like a good 2-step process and kind of sticking with it and being confident in that process. It's probably the biggest thing I'm focusing on in the spring, anyways.
Anything else for David?
Good, appreciate it. Yes, sir.
Puzzle. We've got Henry Freer. Questions for Henry?
Go ahead, Chad. Oh, thanks, Kelly. Just what was that moment like when Coach handed you that scholarship?
It was it was awesome. It was everything. Just kind of been here for now. It's going into my 6th year. Kind of all the hard work paying off. It meant a lot. It was really cool.
You've obviously been here a while now. Just what has it been like to have that journey? Most guys don't get on the field, let alone play as big of a role in games as you do.
Yeah. When I first got here, I thought I was going to be a student. You know, I didn't even think I was going to be on the team until I got, the call over the summer, and then I got to go to a camp, and then, the next year I got to travel, and the next year I got in for like 1 or 2 games, and then just every year it kind of a little bit more, and kind of going into the last year now I get to be on scholarship. So it's been a cool kind of journey to go from there to here.
David was talking about, how nice it is to have the same special teams coordinator year over year. Like, how big is that for you to have Coach Brumfield still here?
Yeah, it's huge. Just like he said, knowing kind of what we're going to get and not having to try to figure out a new system and a new scheme and like different calls, like what it's going to be. It's, the install this year is the same as the install last year. So we're just that much more comfortable and ready to roll and ready to go.
What's maybe something you're working on in terms of your game to kind of kick it up a level for the season?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing maybe this year is, they're always ragging on me, the covering, right? Everyone thinks about the snapping, but maybe the covering and getting some tackles and kind of that aspect of it.
Sort of a big picture question for Georgia Tech football. I mean, what are your thoughts on the direction of this program and where it's headed?
Yeah, I think, you can't look at us and think anything other than we're trending up. We're on the rise. I think, we're starting to do the right things, but, at the same time, we got to keep doing the right things. Otherwise, it's going to stop. So we just got to keep building and keep climbing, and we're going to get where we're going.
Okay. Anything else? Good. Henry, thanks, buddy.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate you. Questions for Aidan Birr? Go ahead, Kelly.
I have to ask the most pressing question. Why did you decide to change numbers?
Well, I have a kicking coach back home, Jaden Obercrom. He wore 33 in college, and Coach Key asked me, he was like, do you want to change your number, like kind of in December? And I was like, yeah, 93 is cool, but I'll take 33. That's a good number, and it's the most threes you can get in a number. So I was like, it works, because I just kick field goals, it's 3 points,
On that one, yeah. What has your offseason been like? What have you been working on?
Just a lot of work with Henry and David, getting the operation sound. Kickoffs have been big for me this year, leg speed, just working on all that, trying to, have an even better year next year.
Jackson?
I ask you the same question I asked them. Like, how nice is it for you to have the same special teams coordinator and you're pretty much learning the same stuff and trying to improve on the stuff that, was installed last year?
It is really nice because, just you don't have to worry about anything new. I guess I haven't had a lot of different special team coordinators, only being here for 2 years, but Coach Brumfield's really good, kind of lets us do what we're trying to do. He's not trying to overanalyze everything, so it's really nice having him.
Kelly?
You obviously, I remember we were talking when you were recruiting, and like you had the injury when you got here, and that'd be difficult. How, I guess, satisfying A, was it that they kind of stuck with you through all of that, and B, like just overcoming that adversity and then getting your opportunity to play last year and kind of making the most of it?
Yeah, I mean, it was a tough year because, my senior year I had an appendicitis that took me out for the end of that year. And then coming in, tearing my ACL, I'm thinking they're probably going to let me go. But just them sticking with me and, giving me a chance in that South Carolina State game, it shows, I don't know, it was just a good feeling. They really do care about you here. And it's just a good feeling.
Do you have a number in mind of how many kicks you want to make, a long you want to make this year, anything like that? You thought about that?
I mean, as many times they send me out there, I want to make them. Obviously, break the record here. That's a goal. I'm not sure what the longest is here, but
55.
55? Bucker?
No. E.O. Wheeler, 1973.
Well, hopefully I get something above 55 and can break that. That'd be nice.
Do you watch what Harrison does, like Harrison Bucker, and like kind of the success he had? And there's a long history here of kickers going to the NFL and having success.
Yeah, I mean, I watch all the NFL kickers, but Harrison Bucker, I mean, he's just a beast. Like over the summer, he comes back here and kicks. I mean, it's just like a sledgehammer hitting the ball. I mean, his kickoffs are going in the stands and all that. And when he comes back, I just go out there and watch. I don't try to bother him, and it's nice to see like a guy like that. Like, he was in my position a couple of years ago. So.
Anything else for Aiden? All right, Aiden,
Yeah.
thanks, buddy.
Thank y'all.
Appreciate you.